Let us continue with the topic. Now we have discussed about the color codes and the air quality index and the impacts regarding NAQI. Now let us start with the pollutants that are recognized under NAQI. NAQI means National Air Quality Index. Now there are 8 pollutants that are recognized. Now the first one is particulate matter 10, PM10. Now what is this PM10? These are coarse pollutants with a diameter of 10 microns or less, with a diameter of less than or equal to 10 microns. Now your dust, smoke comes under this particulate matter 10. Now due to this particulate matter 10, you will be having your breathing problems morely, and more asthma patients will be there due to this PM10, right? Now the next one is particulate matter 2.5. Now these are the respirable particles with a diameter of less than or equal to 2.5 microns, right? Now due to their small size, they cause formation of smoke and haze. Now see here, already we have discussed this, right? Now the formation of smog and haze is due to particulate matter 2.5. Now I'll write this point here, right? They also aggravate your asthma and also your heart diseases. Now the third particle that was recognized under NAQI is NO2, nitrogen oxide. Now you know about this, it is the main cause of acid rains and it slows down your photosynthetic process. This is also known. And see here, this nitrogen dioxide is the cause for formation of red haze in the traffic. Red haze in the traffic. Now, this was asked once in your prelims examination. Red haze in the traffic, right? Now the next pollutant recognized was sulfur dioxide, and we have learned extensively about this, right? This is also responsible for acid rains, right, and causes asthma, bronchitis, right? And also see here, it reduces the formation of flower buds, and also it increases the eye irritation and tears, right? Normal causes, as you know it very well, right? Now next one is carbon monoxide. Now carbon monoxide, already you have discussed about this, right? Now see here, as oxygen has to be supplied to all the cells of the human being, oxygen is supplied through hemoglobin. So oxygen will be attached to hemoglobin. Due to presence of this carbon monoxide will be attached to hemoglobin because it is more attractive than O2 200 times, right? So it forms carboxy hemoglobin. Now due to this, you feel suffocating, right? This is what we have seen earlier. Now the next pollutant is ozone. Already you have discussed about this, right? This is the very toxic gas which erodes your marble statues and all the things, right? Now the next pollutant is ammonia, NH3. Now we have to learn about this, right? Ammonia in air along with sodium and nitrogen dioxide causes smog. Now along with sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, it forms smog, right? Basic points. Now the next one is lead, Pb, right? Lead. These are the 8 pollutants that are recognized under NaQI, right? Now lead interferes with blood cells, normal things. Now what about earlier data, right? Before this NaQI establishment, how the air quality index was reported, right? NaQI was established in 2014, right? Now before that, government used to issue air quality data with PM 2.5 and PM 10, right? With this levels in the atmosphere, with those two, air quality index was given by the government before NaQI, right? Now what are these features of NaQI in CRISP? What you can say? Now see here, with this you will have only one code, one air quality index and one impact that can be easily understandable, and it covers the entire India, right? Now see here, in this NaQI there is no benzene monitoring, right? Now this is one more important point. In NaQI there is no benzene monitoring, right? NaQI doesn't have any data regarding benzene monitoring, right? Now single index in all the areas in India, right? Now what are the drawbacks of this NaQI? Now you have learnt about the importance. Now what are the drawbacks? Now see here, industrial units have to install instruments to measure air quality and send their data to state pollution boards. Now see here, this is where the main drawback is. Now this companies and all the industrial installments will provide your wrong data to state pollution control boards. Am I right or wrong? Yes, some, not all. Now due to this you cannot predict the correct NaQI, and they deliberately use faulty machines, right? Done. Now this is the main. Now without having benzene monitoring, it is very difficult, because benzene is the main cause for cancer. They have avoided it. Now this is the major cancer causing, right? This is the major drawback, right? This is the drawback of NaQI. Now the next one what you have to learn is system of air quality forecasting and research, which is called SAFER, right? SAFER. I will write the full form also. System of air quality forecasting. System of air quality forecasting and research. This is the full form. Done. Now this is a computerized system jointly developed by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, IITM, it's not IIT Madras, and IMD, Indian Meteorological Department, Delhi, right? Now this is located in Pune and IMD is located in Delhi, as everybody know. Now see here, what is the use of this device? What is the use of this computerized system? It can forecast the quality of air for 24 hours to 72 hours in advance. Now it provides the air quality index precisely, right? And it also provides data on UV rays, right? Now see here, it can forecast the quality of air, for 24 to 72 hours in advance. This is the main use of this SAFER device, and it provides you data regarding UV rays also. Now this is one more important thing, right? Now this SAFER, this SAFER was first installed in Commonwealth Games, Delhi. Commonwealth Games, Delhi 2010. Such type of questions will be there in your examination. You have to focus on this, right? So there comes to end for air pollution. Now let us see the next classification of pollution, which is your major thing, water pollution. Now what this water pollution exactly means, right? Now water pollution is contamination of natural water bodies by chemical, physical, radioactive and pathogenic microbial substances so that it becomes unfit for use. Now this is water pollution, right? Which makes unfit for use. This is the crux point, unfit for use. Right? Now shall I repeat it? Now see here, water pollution is contamination of natural water bodies by chemical, physical, radioactive and microbial substances so that it becomes unfit for use, is the basic definition of water pollution. Now what are the sources of water pollution? There are two sources. One is point source and the other one is non-point source. Now what about these point sources? Now a point source is a single identifiable source of pollution such as a pipe or a drain. Hence pollutants directly travel from source to water, right? Now these point sources can be easily regulated. These point sources can be easily regulated as it has only one identifiable source, right? So the next one, non-point source. Now non-point of source of pollution are often termed as diffuse pollution. They are also known as diffuse pollution. Now see here, the term itself says that there will be no identifiable source of pollution, right? They and the inputs and the impacts will be occurring over a wide area, right? And they are not easily attributed to a single source. Now point source can be attributed to single source, but non-point source cannot be attributed to single source, and it is very difficult to regulate non-point sources pollution. Now what are the types of water pollutants, right? As you know, inorganic water pollutants and organic water pollutants. Now, let us discuss about inorganic water pollutants. The first one is mercury. I'll write it as Hg. Right? Now see here, mercury is mostly found in, when mercury is found in fishes, now it may enter into human chain and causes Minamata disease. Now we have discussed this in extensively in ecology topic, right? So now see here, due to this mercury accumulation in the fishes, when you consume this fishes which contains mercury, you will be facing a disease called Minamata disease. Now this disease happened first in Japan, right, in 1950, right? Mercury syndrome. Got the point? Now the next inorganic pollutant is lead. Already you have discussed this. And the next one is phosphates. And the next one is nitrates. These are inorganic pollutants. Now what are organic pollutants? You already know about this DDT, already you have discussed this. This DDT is slowly degradable pollutant in air pollution, and in water pollution it is organic pollution, right? Heptachlor, many examples, right? Done. And the third one is biological pollutants, right? Biological pollutants, organic, inorganic, and biological pollutants. The term itself says, the definition itself says, what are these biological pollutants? Now see here, your algal blooms are biological pollutants, am I right? The weeds that are grown on the surface of the water, which decreases your oxygen content in the lake or stream, is nothing but your biological pollutants, right? And chemical pollutants, next one. And you also know all types of inorganic chemicals comes under chemical pollutants, right? Now let us go to the next concept, right? We have discussed about types of water pollutants, and we have to discuss one important type of water pollution, which is nothing but oil spills, right? Which majorly occurs in seas. You have to focus on this. Oil spills. Now this, what is oil spills? Oil spill is accidental discharge of petroleum in oceans or estuaries by oil tankers or offshore oil mining or oil refineries. Now what are the effects of this? There will be two types of effects. One are short term effects and long term effects. Now what are short term effects and what are long term effects? Let us discuss about this. Now short term effects. Now see here, this oil forms a film on the surface of the water, and so that's why what happens, the transfer of oxygen into the water to support marine life will be affected. Am I right or wrong? Will be affected. And the next one, these oil film known as oil slick gives unpleasant odor to the fishes, so automatically your industry will be destroyed. Now it causes death of birds because they eat on this fishes which will be covered with oil, right? And see here, and it also travels to humans through biomagnification. We have discussed extensively regarding this, right? And what are the long term effects? Now see here, once oil is consumed by a particular marine organism, then hydrocarbons pass through many numbers of food chains, right? Am I right or wrong? Now see here, this biomagnification example you have to consider for long term effect, not for short term effect, right? Done. Now see here, when these marine organisms are taken by next level of consumers, next level of consumers, at last the topmost human beings. Now see here, all these oil slicks will be moved down to the energy pyramids or your number pyramids. Now at last it is taken by human beings, which is a process called biomagnification, increase in concentration of the substance. Am I right or wrong? Now how to curb this oil spills? How to curb this oil spills, right? Now see here, a mechanical barrier must be placed around the oil slick to check the spread of its area, right? Or you have to pour a dispersant. Now what happens when this dispersant is poured? It breaks up the oil film and can be checked its spread. Dispersants are similar to soaps in their action on oil film. Now this dispersant reduces the surface tension between oil and water. Reduces surface tension between oil and water and breaks down into film droplets, sorry, and breaks down into droplets. This will disperse the oil slicks, am I right? And some absorbents like polystyrene, polypropylene and polyethane are often used to absorb oil, right? Absorbents like, I like two examples here: polystyrene, polypropylene. Now, these absorb oils on the surface of the river. Some microbial surfactants also act as absorbents, right? Now, one important thing that you have to know, how to curb this oil pollution, oil spills, using of oil zapper. Now, this was asked once in your examination. Focus on this. Oil zapper. Now, what this oil zapper means? It refers to a mixture of 5 microbial strains which are capable of degrading crude oil and oil sludge very fast. After degradation, they releases harmless carbon dioxide and water. Right? Now see here, this is a mixture of 5 microbial strains. That are capable of degrading crude oil and they releases carbon dioxide and water after degradation. Now they feed on these hydrocarbons, right? Now this oil zapper technology was first introduced by the Energy and Research Institute, which is called TERI. The oil zapper technology was first used by TERI to clean the oil spill in Bombay in 2000. Right? Got the point? Yes. Now the next one is very important. Focus on this. What are the effects of water pollution? Effects of water pollution. Now the first effect is dissolved oxygen content, DO, dissolved oxygen content. Now first, what is dissolved oxygen content? DO measures the concentration of oxygen dissolved in water or wastewater sample. It shows you the concentration of oxygen in water, right? Now this is dissolved oxygen. Now how it is affected, right? Now see here, when this organic and inorganic waste are increased in the water, right? Now see here, it has to degrade, it has to this organic and inorganic waste has to be degraded. Am I right or wrong? So this decomposers use more oxygen to degrade this organic and inorganic waste. As a result, so what happens? Your dissolved oxygen content will be decreased in the water, right? Now water having DO content of below 8 mg per liter is said to be contaminated. Now is said to be contaminated. Then next effect is biological oxygen demand. Now first, what is BOD? Biological oxygen demand is a measure of quantity of oxygen used by microorganisms, is a measure of quantity of oxygen used by microorganisms. Now how it affects? Right, now see here, the demand for oxygen is directly related to the increasing input of organic and inorganic waste. Now see here, when this oxygen is consumed by the microorganisms to decompose this organic and inorganic waste, automatically your DO content will be decreased. Am I right or wrong? When BOD is increased, so automatically your dissolved oxygen content will be decreased in the water. Am I right or wrong? Yes. Next effect is, now see, all these three are very important, right? And the next one is chemical oxygen demand, COD. Now what is chemical oxygen demand? It is a measure of oxygen equivalent of requirement of oxidation of total organic matter. Right? It is a measure of oxygen equivalent of requirement of oxidation of total organic matter. Now this is COD, total organic matter. Now how do you say this? Now COD is another measure for knowing the measures of pollution. Now it is a measure of oxygen equivalent. Now we have seen this oxygen equivalent of requirement of oxidation of total organic matter. Now COD is used as an substitutory for biological oxygen demand. Now COD can test in fresh water also. Where BOD cannot work there, right? And the next two concepts are TOD, means total oxygen demand, right? Now this term itself explains you the total oxygen demand of water sample, total oxygen demand of water sample. And the next one is total organic carbon, right? Now see here, this is nothing but to know the measure of organic contaminants in the water, organic contaminants in the water, right? Now these are the four terms that you have to learn. Done. Now one more point you have to learn, and I mean it was asked once in your service commission examination, tube effects. Now tube effects is an insect larva and it can survive in highly polluted water. So this larva is known as indicator species. Indicator species for polluted water. Indicator species for polluted water, right? Now the next concept what you have to know, the effects of water pollution. Already we have discussed this in detail in ecology, but I will give the basic definition here. Biomagnification. Now what is biomagnification? Right, the phenomenon through which certain pollutants gets accumulated in the tissue in increasing concentration along the food chain is called biomagnification, right? Now see here, accumulation accumulation in tissues, right, in increasing concentration along the food chain is called biomagnification. We have discussed this extensively in ecology, right? Now see here, these non-degradable pollutants accumulate in the body, right? Now let us discuss some case studies regarding this biomagnification in the next video, because these case studies are very important for the examination, right? At least twice these questions appeared in the examination, right? Focus on this.